Hi! Namaste, it's Bharati, and as I announced, I'm here right now with a live satsang, and I decided to do that in English today. So I know I did the announcement in German, but as we have right now, one beautiful working guest here who speaks English, I decided to do the satsang in English. And if anybody of you feels you want to kind of, make some subtitles in German, feel welcome. On YouTube where they come, you have a way of how you can edit that. So it's possible if you want to help. So you can do that if you like. I start with a mantra and then we start together. So I start with the mantra, Ganesh mantra, which is a mantra for clearing up obstacles. So anybody of you, online and offline, any obstacle you feel in your life, you can ask Ganesha to please clear it for you. Oh, a lot of obstacles. So nice you are here. I also see some Gurujis and Babajis are here. Very nice. Namaste. From India, some people are here. Yeah, so what is the meaning of Satsang? Satsang means to be in truth. And that means we don't play games. We talk the divine truth. We're, building up some energy together to remind us, because, each soul knows already the truth inside. So the inner guru is there, but the mind can be so strong that you can sometimes, lose your connections of, hearing your soul. So there's a difference of knowing with your mind, like having thoughts with your mind, and knowing with your soul. You know what I mean? So when you know with your soul, you feel so aligned. You feel so strong. You are, in the moment, everything makes sense, everything is connected, and mostly the mind is controlling what we're thinking and not so much the soul, for most people. So Satsang is reminding us to connect again to the higher truth, seeing a little bit from overview, getting connections together. And yeah, another thing, the reason why I heard from many people I should please do more satsangs again, because for a time I did it regularly, is that there's a lot of divine knowledge. Once you share it, you know, there's a deeper understanding of spirituality, right? So there's knowledge of people feeling they're making it themselves up, and there's the authentic knowledge. You know, some of this knowledge I'm teaching you is thousands of years old. That's not my story. That is the story of the Vedas, right? Just yesterday, if you read my Facebook post, I posted some post from a newspaper in India. I like these newspapers in India, write very different stuff than we, that they found proof that the Ramayana is really real. That the Ramayana, the story of the Ramayana really happens. That means the story of Hanuman, Sita, you know, Rama, you know, it really happens, I think, 60,000 years ago. They even found, you know, some years ago, some proof archaeologically, and how you say in English? Archaeologically, you say that in English. They found some proof of the city Dwarka. Yeah. So many people think that are nice stories, you know, that spirituality, the Hindu tradition, the gods are like, you know, kind of something, you know, like in Germany where you go to church and you pray without, you know, having some background, because this is what happens for me in the church. You believe it or you don't believe it, right? But the real spirituality has proofs. So, and I feel that it's very important to get the dots together to understand who we are as human beings, you know, why we are here, and what is a soul, and, you know, what are we doing here? So anyhow, there are so many, you know, subjects we can talk about, and I realized this India journey, I realized something. I had a group on Shivaratri, and I do these groups to Shivaratri and Navaratri. I do now groups since over 15 years, you know, it's a long time. And sometimes I forget that people don't know what I know. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I think they come with me and they're like, oh wow, oh yes, you know, that they feel the devotion that I feel, that they feel the bhakti, the joy of going to an old temple. If I go to an old temple which is 4,000 years old, I always feel like, oh my gosh, thanks, I can be here, you know. I'm overjoying, you know, no matter what I have privately, you know, what upsets me maybe in life. I'm like, wow, I have this bhakti in my heart. And then some people stand like that. Okay, nice. So I realized, you know, it's like a kid. If you give a 3-year-old kid, if you give them a real diamond or if you give them a fake diamond, it's both glittery. A kid cannot say which one is the real one and which one is not the real one, right? Right? So the kid will love both, but one cost maybe 10,000 euros and one cost 1 euro. But the kids will feel it's both the same. For that I feel, you know, it's very important to teach how you understand, you know, how you can see, you know, what are the real experiences and also what are the experiences that might be also fake, because there are also a lot of fake people. You know, there are a lot of fake knowledge or funny knowledge. Let's say funny knowledge, okay? So let's say like this, or people make their own stuff, you know? And so, anyhow, that's not to me to say this is right and this is not right, but I think everybody should understand to see how I see which is a real diamond and not. Right? Because there are other very beautiful souls and teachers and real gurus and real sadhus who's giving this knowledge, and there are some who, yeah, you know, making some funny soup out of it. So for that I felt it's good to make, you know, that satsangs a little bit more. Because also one question I get a lot in India is, for example, when I walk the street and there are a lot of sadhus in Tiruvannamalai, for example. A lot of sadhus, like monks, yeah? So sadhus means some people, they give up their life, you know? I mean, not all the sadhus also are real. Some sadhus drink and smoke, and they're actually beggars in a sadhu robe, but they're not real sadhus. So from that sadhus, from that let's say 100% sadhus, there may be 10 to 20% real sadhus. Okay, so this sadhus, I also can make mistakes, but mostly I get them. Mostly I see that in their eyes. Many people ask me, how do you see a sadhu is real or not? It's difficult for me to describe that. It's like if you meet another person who can, you do my finances. If you see another person who, wie sagt man Buchhaltung auf Englisch? Administration work, yeah. You can realize or recognize if this person is good or not, right? Mostly. But if you don't do that same work, you cannot say. So with getting the knowledge, you get to understand more, and you can start to feel also into it more. You get the knowledge of how to, see also more, how to get it. And for me personally, I don't believe that only the Indian tradition has to be the way, this light is at the end one. I'm not here as a religious teacher. I'm a mystic, I'm a mystic, so I really love everybody who studied mystic, even here, my darkness retreat, to come here. I'm very excited if shamanic come here, if Buddhist monks come here. I love this connection. I really feel there, so many ways, but what I see, many ways have the same patterns. So many, for example, the Sufis also start to write yantras, for example, three-dimensional structures which are, as a showing of divine souls, for example, So, for example, three yantras there, but the Sufis also draw yantras, It's very interesting. Or if you see, for example, the flower of life, many people know the sign flower of life. This was even 5,000 years ago, some yogis told me and showed me, one Swami, many years ago, like there was a flower of life in an old pine leaf. How does it come there? And, other people saw it in other places, like in Egypt, how that can be. So there are big connections, there are big mystic, and I think this is very powerful to research that. So in order for that, I have some questions I got already online. I don't know if I remember all of them, but some are here in this class. It's not so much today, but what I always do in the Satsangs, I'm reading these questions and I'm answering on that. And there are, many different questions. So I don't even know what's there. So I start with one of here, and then I see what I remember, what I got online. So, okay. Oh wow. This is von dir? Wow, this is powerful. We just talked about that today. Wow, this is a deep question. What happens when the soul is breaking? So Cora and I, we had a talk about, there are certain levels of negativity when the soul is not so much happy and shining anymore. And let's say, we talked about that a lot already. There's this part of, spirituality and the big Satsang movement and the big Advaita movement who's saying everything is one, there is no negativity. Yeah, there is no negativity, everything is one, you don't have to go into it, But in German I say, nach Advaita geht's weiter. So Advaita means everything is a one. It's true, at the end everything is one, but still there's duality in the oneness. Okay, there's duality in the oneness. So in the Indian tradition, there are different knowledges, but there's also knowledge that, a soul can break after 21 days. 21 times, you heard 16 times, I don't know where that comes from, but I hear 21 times of a heartbreak, then you cannot fix it anymore. And I just have in the darkness retreat right now two beautiful experiences I wanted to tell you without saying the names of who's right now there, but which has to do with that, is that one person was a satsang teacher for Advaita, and he actually taught everything is a love, and you don't have to go into it. And finally, he's actually the third person who told me that. It's not the first time I hear that. And he had to stop teaching that because after a while he got really confused, It's like kind of still the duality is there, because you cannot get the enlightenment with your head. Okay? You cannot get the enlightenment only by thoughts. Okay? If I say nothing is real, it's all an illusion, it might work for some people. You know, there are some people who get some experiences, like for example, he got a state of Satchidananda, like bliss for some time, really beautiful. But after that, he had to wash his inner laundry again, you know. So that's why even Ramana Maharishi, for example, he is one of the very known persons for the Advaita movement, and we live near the Ramana Maharishi ashram. So I studied his life pretty well. I know which temples he meditated, which caves he meditated. Even he did a lot of sadhana, spiritual practice. Why he did that? Even he, after he got his awakening. Why he did that? Because when you suck the high divine cosmic energy, if you meditate and you make the mantras, you know, the old structures, the pain body, let's say, like Eckhart Tolle says, pain body, right? I like this. The pain body is dissolving more and more and more and more in light. Even when you have one experience, it doesn't mean it stays. And I see there's a lot of tension, even in Satsang teachers. Once you have that, you have to hold that, right? You cannot have any bad day, you know what I mean? You have to be always there. And that is what I feel, guys, be honest, you know, we are all human beings, you know, that is, I don't know any yogi, and I know a lot, believe me, I know a lot. I don't know any yogi who doesn't have a bad day. So, and you know, there are different stages of enlightenment, but the enlightenment doesn't mean that you're not always in between, have a human energy come through, or a character. Each saint, even each guru, even has a character. There are different characters, you know. And so let's come back to what happens when the soul breaks. So that is one of the things, if you try to fix that and saying this is not real, because you believe the Advaita, it might help you for a while, but you have to clean your laundry. You have to clean your cellar, you know. You have to make the work. So you have to kind of looking at what broke, and you have to kind of ask the divine energy to please clear it out. So that's why mantras are so powerful. You know, they're clearing up. We have 100,000 nadis, 120,000 nadis, energies that flow through the body, all the chakras connecting. So if there's a, you know, for example, like somebody hit at you, you know, when you were a kid, or something bad happened, that memory is still in your cells. Even you say, no, it's not real, it's still there in the cells. You know, so that divine energy can change that. So you can see that like from above without connecting to the pain body. So it's fixable, but if not fixable, if a soul is breaking, then those things happen where we say, how can that be? Maybe you can help me to get that in English, like a victim becomes a perpetrator. That's the name. So, you know, that is very difficult to get that, you know. The victim who got too much, you know, there are even stories of kids who turn bad. So they start to hurt kids or cats or dogs or, you know, animals. So something in the soul broke, so the pain they have inside they have to give to other people. That's why in psychology, the people... Somebody might come, hi! The pain, you know, we give to other people, or if somebody received too much pain, they could give it to somebody else. So, you know, and that is some work of some psychologists, you know, who really have the guts to see even in those people who did very bad things the divine, right? So it's fixable to a point with lots of love. I heard from a child once who got so much mistreated, it's unspeakable what happened to the child. And that child was, you know, the therapist was taking the child to his own family, and the child started to, in the family, you know, the kids started to hit them and stuff. And he wanted to give already that kid back to, you know, to a therapy place. And then they, as a family, they talked and they decided, no, we just give love. We give it 1 year and we give so much love. And the father had so much fear, so he didn't want to keep his child alone, his children alone with that kid. So much fear he had that something would happen. After that 1 year, that kid healed. Okay? And still in the family, they adopted the kid. You know? But to see through that, you know, that was a beautiful question you asked. If in the darkness retreat, always here when we do the talks with the people, or when we do the healing groups or things, if only the victim stuff comes up, or also this word? Perpetrator, it's a new word for me. Perpetrator stuff also comes up. And today, somebody in the darkness retreat told me something of that side too. And I felt that is a pretty amazing thing, because there you really, you know, they're really healing kind of stuff, you know, not just for this person, but for all the family who got involved in that, and there is real forgiveness can happen. So that also means for us as spiritual people, I mean, everybody's spiritual, nobody knows not spiritual, because we are all spiritual souls in a human body, but you know, who have a little awareness, let's say, you know, I think we have to see beyond these games sometimes. We have to really pray, especially for the people who do a lot of crazy stuff in this world. We have to send a lot of healing prayers and a lot of beautiful vibrations, not just to the victims, but to the people who victimize. Because there's a point when a soul is breaking where they don't have any empathy, you know, they can even get not just narcissistic, which there are different levels, but they can even get to the point where the soul gets dead. So at the end, you know, at latest when you die, you go back, you know, many things can happen, you can purify, but that is possible. But I feel with love there's so much more possible. So can you believe if everybody would start to meditate for the people who do wrong things, what in the world would happen? You know? So I think that is a really beautiful chance also to see the power of our energy. The human has a lot of energy. We have a big heart chakra, we have a big power in the third eye, and if we use that, we can bring a lot of positive vibrations to the world. So it's a beautiful question. You have any more of that? Any other question?
For now, I'm good.
For now, it's good. Okay. There's a date. One more date? I don't know. Oh, this is so von Abbas. Okay, that is interesting. And I always told in 2 satsangs, I will tell that later, now I will do that. He was a working guest here. In Indian working guest, very interesting. Yeah, and it was very interesting. And he asked that question. So, I think it fits to my experiences question, which I had with a new group in India right now, because some people come again and again with me to India and work for me a long time, so they start to understand. But for some people, you know, it's difficult. It's a different world, and for me too, you know. And he asked that question. Could you kindly briefly narrate your own story of spirituality, how you got initiated in it, and your decision to go to India, difficulties you've faced during this transmission, and also to your life right now? And I think that, you know, happens to that. Yeah. My own story starts as a kid when I had some divine experiences. I, you know, didn't know at the time that those things are not normal. I was able to see dead people, you know, and they were standing in my sleeping room, and I felt like, why my grandma is sending nighttime people in my room, you know? I'm like, what is this? You know, I want to sleep, you know? And I started to talk with my grandma about that, and she's like, oh my gosh, kid, I also see, okay, don't talk about that, right? Because she came from a time where the Nazis even, you know, feel all Zigeuners or people with disabilities are, you know, not welcome. So at that time we couldn't talk about like now. So she told me never talk to somebody about it. But that experience didn't stop, and when I got older, I got fear of it. you know. Then sometimes I got fear. I had fear of going to toilet, you know, at night time. I heard voices. I had a lot of experiences. Then when I got older, I lost some of that experiences. I don't really know why. I think, you know, through the normal life here, not meditating, you know, eating at that time, also meat, you know. Now I don't eat, of course, meat, but at that time I was not growing up consciously, you know. So, and my vibration went down. I started to get very confused in life. I did a lot of party. I had a lot of energy, but I was very lost, you know. I felt always I don't really belong to. Then when I was 17, I started to think something is different. I had always experienced before where I saw in the future, you know, or I could read somebody's mind or stuff like this, and why did that disappear? So I started to research, and I started to, you know, learn prana healing, Reiki. I met a shamanic priest. I went even to Philippines, you know, and I did a long research there. And there I saw my first miracles again. So my energy again awakened. I got some tools, you know, some healing tools, how to work with energy. But I could feel the energy very strongly. I did a lot of healings. After I came back from the Philippines, I was like 23, 24. I did a lot of healings, so strong that sometimes, you know, when I put my hand on somebody, you know, my hand was still showing after 2-3 days, like a little burn. So much energy I felt. But same time, the healings were so strong. I didn't even have a web page. So many people came. And what I didn't know about was decharging. As more people came, I felt more sick. I had no clue. Nobody taught me of how to work with all the energies from the souls. So I felt not so good, like many healers experience that. And same time, my longing for the divine knowledge went more. Like I could do the healings, but what I'm really, you know, who I'm really channeling, I cannot see them. That was a pain in my heart. Like I want to see this angel I'm calling. Because now I'm in the state of I feel the energy, I see a little aura, okay, nice, but I want to see, you know, if they're really there, I want to see them, right? So with this longing in my heart, I was even remembering times where I went, you know, into the forest crying for God, you know, like feeling so much. I want to have this experience. Now I know I met many yogis who also did a lot of sadhanas, that the ones who also got strong experiences all feel this pain at some time. And you need some heartbreak. It seems that you really pull it, you know, because if you don't call, why somebody should answer, right? So anyhow, then I went to in ashram, and of course I was completely overwhelmed because that was completely different. There was a talk, for example, about the negativity. At that time there's no negativity. At that time I had this belief system, there's only positive energy. And I just give love and light and everything is as it is, you know. And then I saw, no, as much as you go higher, you know, there's a yin-yang, as much you have to handle, you know. And I did mantras, and I started to feel that energy. After a while, I could feel the vibration. I felt it in my spine, I felt the heat of the mantras, I felt spiritual experiences. And I had, you know, very good luck after some years to really get some divine experiences. I mean, that's another talk. I would tell that in another one. But I knew at that time that the longing I had was fulfilled, like this, for a little bit. Because once you eat a chocolate, after a while you want to eat it again. So that's why after that experience I didn't went home. So I wanted to have another chocolate. So I started again meditating. And anyhow, that is his questions. And what is the difficulty? The difficulty is I didn't feel so much in that transition. I don't know, my soul had this bhakti and surrender a lot for the divine, maybe from some lifetime experience, what I had from before. But coming back, that was shocking. That was really shocking. I remember the first time after having my real spiritual experience, sawing in another world, experience some powerful awakening. And I come back, coming on the airport in Frankfurt, with my flip-flops on, having like 20 D-Mark at the time in my pocket, and seeing all the people and seeing the $500 bags in the, and the suits, and I was thinking, what is wrong here? I was like, wow. And my head was always chanting. I was not stopping. Even I was talking to someone, I was just chanting mantras non-stop. And I was thinking, that people would feel my energy is different, but they didn't. They saw my outside. They saw the same, like they want me to see. They didn't know my experience. So that was kind of difficult for me. And also what changed a lot is, for me, that spiritual became normal for me. The experiences became like something which everybody can achieve. That was my experience now. And I couldn't understand why people also didn't want to have that. Why people, working for things I don't really care. Let's say like this. So that was a difficult transmission. And other way around too, once I brought people to India, I moved both cultures, right? So for example, people want to walk with shoes in the temple, or, and this is not good. This is a powerful chakras on the feet, and that is, that has the dust of the earth, and you walk with a nice clean energy in the temple, so you leave the shoes outside. People didn't understand that, so that was difficult for me. They're having this discussion, why you have to leave the shoes out, and disturb me, the small things, or why do I have to, kind of light now a light there, and I felt like, wow, don't you feel that, it was like, isn't that amazing, we hit this temple, wow, now we can do that, so, and that actually is something I still find something difficult, I have to say, because not all Indians are enlightened. I want to say that too. I had also some bad experiences, and also experiences where I felt the path I was on to changed. That is also a very big story. That was a big transmission for me, and I went to see some yoginis, like women saints. And I felt, wow, that is so amazing, because they're very differently working than the males I knew before. And, I had all this experience in me, but to bring people in a group to India, to make them feel the same, and to tell them, be careful with this guru. For example, there are some gurus I a little bit even feel like, oh, should I say it here online or not? But something in me is crippling, There are some really, like, you see it already in the face, how fake they are, yeah? But everybody is running to their programs, like, you want to shake them, yeah? And then the real ones who don't have a lot of visitors because they're sitting in their caves, they don't care, they don't have an ego, they don't have a cave. They don't have they have a cave, but they don't have an ego, So they don't care, and people don't feel it. Like, what is that? So that is a frustration in me sometimes, where, but now I also think, that it had really to do that more people should talk about those things, Some people should tell the truth. Some people should also tell the misuse in spirituality. One idea I had in the beginning is, once you enter spirituality, only nice people. No more cheating, no more misuse. No, it's not true. Okay? It's still there, and there are many, for example, swamis who sexually abuse people, even male. I had one swami in Germany, he's pretty famous, I don't say the name, but I had some people in the darkness retreat who were with him sexually. Okay, so I'm not free. They didn't want to do that freely. He's telling them, oh, I'm giving you initiation, I know what they do. They take, the students meditate, they chant the mantras. It's very powerful mantras, very powerful. Every mantra is like a phone number. You really suck high divine vibrations, even if you don't feel it in the beginning. After a while, you start to feel it. You feel your chakras, you feel your aura, you feel it. So they let them chant, and then they take the energy, and with that they perform the miracles. Huh? So I hope I don't get any problems you saying that. I know Because, you know, why you can't say openly, I'm doing this, or you want to be part of this or not. I think most people have the ego to say, yeah, I don't care, you know. Of course, you know, but you should not misuse that. Yeah, and that knowledge, you should not misuse it. But anyhow, that's their karma. And on the other side, there are yogis who are giving freely so much, and so much energy and so much knowledge. It's really, really beautiful, you know. But to translate that, you know, to show the people what is what and what is the real thing. For example, let me tell you one example. I went to the Jivan Samadhi of Tulsidas. Tulsidas wrote the Hanuman Chalisa, okay? Tulsidas was the one, you know, like Mozart here in Germany, you know, super famous, okay? But he was not just a Mozart. He, you know, had so much bhakti and love and his energy. He didn't was sitting doing meditation. He was making mantras, you know, with songs. Through that songs, he got huge divine experiences, and he got very, very, very powerful. So actually Hanuman, you know, blessed him so much. So I didn't know since 2 years ago that he is even in Jivan Samadhi. That Jivan Samadhi means the highest level before light Samadhi of getting Samadhi. So they're leaving the body, but the body is not decreasing. Are you saying like this in English? Mm-hmm. Decreasing. It's not decreasing. For 1,000 years, it's true. I'm not telling lie here. That's true. You know? So there are only very few Jivan Samadhis. I love Jivan Samadhis because they have the most highest energy. So I always see where are some Jivan Samadhis, you know, because until now I don't know any book where all Jivan Samadhis are listed. So I always hear that, I don't know any Jivan Samadhis. So, and I didn't know about, you know, Tulsidas had a Jivan Samadhi. Wow! And I heard that it's Tulsidas Jivan Samadhi in Tiruvannamalai. And I'm living in Tiruvannamalai for now, I don't know, 6 years or 7 years. And I have a house there rented, you know. And I didn't know that there is a Jivan Samadhi. I hear that and I'm like, wow. So I was thinking, I come to this Jivan Samadhi with a big temple, everything clean, some priests, you know, doing pujas. I mean, how many people chanting Hanuman Chalisa every day? Millions of people, you know. And I come there, just like a shrine. There's a Jivan Samadhi, on top there's a Shiva Lingam, next to that a Hanuman, and behind that garbage. And I was like, what the, you know? And I was like, that cannot be, yeah? You know, yeah, but this is Kali Yuga, this is a time age, this is a real thing, there's a real power is there, and people don't realize it, yeah? It's like, what is this? Even the Indian people. So I was sitting there, and this is a question of real spiritual experiences and what is the meaning of Baba. So I was sitting there with a group, and I was very, very happy. It was last Navaratri before I had the Yogini group, before I did the women's group. And I was very happy, you know. I found this Jivan Samadhi and I was like, wow. And I was chanting the Hanuman Chalisa, which you all know, I know by heart because we sing it every night here in the ashram. And all of a sudden, my mind was blank. I couldn't think anything. My mouth could not work anymore. My energy got... This body was too small for all that energy that came. It was like, wow. And Aya, he was there. He showed me that Samadhi. He told me about that Samadhi. So Aya was with me there. I was only able to look at him. My hand was like, you know, that I couldn't move my hand. I could not move. And I didn't know what happened. And I was like, I just said, Aya, you know, like, and he came and he's like, oh, just Tulsidas went in you. Wow. And I couldn't come down. I think for, I don't know what the time is, but I think 45 minutes I was sitting there. I could not move my hand. I felt so much love. Oh, and the amazing thing is, I saw the people differently. All my group, I saw this so differently. I saw like, you know, with 4 or 5 souls above. I could see things in their soul, who they were. I mean, so much love for those people. I mean, it was amazing. And, you know, I saw like kind of the energies in them. It was a very freaky experience because it was somebody was looking through my eyes, you know, and somebody was hosting my body like that it felt, and I couldn't come back. But then finally it was time to stand up, and I couldn't move, so I had to put me like this, and 2 people of my group holded me, and I put water over my face, and you know, and wow, it was so beautiful. Same time I felt this pain. I could feel the group members, or some couldn't understand, and some also longing for the same experience. And I prayed that they also get that experience. But my heart was so open at the moment that I felt very sad. I felt very sad. I felt this is like a kind of spiritual selfish experience. I want to have them all included. And I could feel their heart, so I had like a oneness experience, Like I felt we are one, but I cannot share that. But I see that in them, but they don't know that I see that, Like it felt very weird and lonely, and I was driving in the bus with them to another temple, like 45 minutes, and all the time it was like, this energy was like, floating. And I could feel, I could feel like some people like, wow, some people like sad, some people don't believe me, all the things I could, feel. It was a lot to handle. I was happy to have one person who was next to me, where I felt she got me, so that gave me, and Aya was there. I was very happy he was there. He is a saint, he's a yogi, so I was very happy he was there with me in that experience. So of course, how do you put those things in words? Even now it's so difficult. What I tell you just can describe 1%, yeah? And that's why I think it's very important that everybody is understanding the power of meditation, no matter what your belief system is, or if you believe in, Shiva or Hanuman, or you just believe in the divine light, because these experiences are possible, especially this oneness experience. And can you believe, your questions you had was like, when is the soul breaking, and you can, I believe once you can feel a soul that is breaking, you can transform, because you can feel it. I had experience in a darkness retreat group, in a healing group, where I could feel, of something, it felt like my own for that moment. There was another person told me, that's not good. You should not feel somebody else's energy, that's not good, you should separate. No way, I cannot separate, and that concept doesn't matter to me in that moment, right? So I just moved on, and I could feel that, and I just felt so much compassion. Before I was very judgmental about that person, about the blockages, and I felt, this person is a little strange, What we all, it's human, it's normal, we all do that, right? But at that moment, I completely understood. It was like, that's why, and so much compassion and so much love, and I was like, wow. And then after that connection broke. Then the energy, I was again more me, whoever I am, I don't know, but what the soul thinks it is right now in this body. And, something shifted there. And that's why I think, doing meditation, when we talk about peace, and if we talk about consciousness, and if we talk we want to change the world, I think really that what this means, we have to start, in ourselves, we have to start to raise the vibrations, right? And maybe at the end I want to say one more thing, and then I give room for 2 or 3 questions before I stop. I want to say one thing is, also this concept in the beginning, what he's asking me was also like, what you find difficult. I found difficult when I came to India. My concept was, all enlightened masters are peaceful and happy and always centered. And I saw exactly the opposite. In each of one, it was not just one cell. All of them are very powerful, very powerful. And I don't know, did you told me about the book Radical Honesty? Mm-hmm. Yes, I want to read that. I think that's it. They don't care anymore. Many of them don't care what people think, and that makes so free. And they're kind of, not like, oh, how I they're like tongue, and they have that energy, and I felt, wow, what is that? Because I had a concept of what love is, but after a while I understood the real love is to, go for the truth and fight for the truth, no matter what that truth is right now in the moment, right? And of course, some of them are too angry also, because there's a lot of fire energy. We have to see that too. I feel that sometimes too when I meditate a lot, you get easily irritated. Each soul, if you meditate a lot, you get easily irritated, because you know why? Your senses got so sensitive. You hear better, you feel more, you smell different, you know. And there are times where I feel like even hearing, like jazz or something, somebody's hearing that, too much. Huh? It's like when the energy is strong, it feels like a little pain, like tick, tick. Or if somebody walks in through my aura, even if I put my hand on my own aura, it's so you get more sensitive, right? So they are like fighting for their freedom, let's say like this. And to handle all that cosmic energy is a lot, because once the Kundalini is wakening up, it's a lot of fire. So, it's a lot of energy to hold. So you have a lot of vibration in you, right? So that was one of the most concept things where I think, you're always sitting peacefully and happy, and that there's also process. I'm sure some attain that step, I don't want to say it's not there, but I think there are different steps in between. And, there are many, many different ways. We have this one word, enlightenment, here in Germany, yeah? But I think there are many different ways of enlightenment, many different experiences on the path. There's not just one enlightenment, yeah? And so, yeah, so I give room for, let's say, 2-3 questions before we stop. Anybody?
Well, maybe you could tell me your definition of enlightenment, because everybody has a different, gives a different meaning to it.
Right. I'm very careful with the saying of enlightenment, because I really believe there are different steps. Even in the saints, you can achieve a normal you can achieve a normal enlightenment like Advaita, you're in the Satchitananda, you're in this bliss, everything is the one, of course, it's real. But you leave your body in a normal way, or you can attain different samadhis, even until Jivan Samadhi, or even until Light Samadhi. So there are many, many different steps of how much is your soul capable, what kind of level of cosmic energy you can get. So I think the enlightenment, let's say like this, is starting once you experience you're not your body. And once you had some experience where you feel, for example, you see your body outside, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm really immortal, So something is, it's not in your mind, you experience, oh my gosh, I'm really immortal, wow. Then you start to think who I really am, So there it's starting. But I'm very careful with saying only that is enlightenment, So let's say like this, there it starts,
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and also the Satchitananda. Once you had this, this bliss without knowing why you're blissful, you can have a lot of problems, but you're smiling, you're trusting, you're like, okay, one moment you can be so irritated, next moment you are so blissful, That doesn't make sense to anybody, not even to yourself. So that is also signs of enlightenment. You're seeing through the illusion. And also, all these different cities' abilities, while the lower cities' abilities, you see the souls, you see everything is connected, you have oneness experiences, it's beautiful, beautiful. But the levels, there are so many different levels of enlightenment. Yeah. Some more questions? Alles klar. Everything answered. Okay. Yeah.
Well, maybe one last question.
Yeah.
So what's important for daily practice? What would you recommend next to meditation?
Thank you for asking that one. That is a really powerful one. Yes. That is really powerful. Don't believe always your thoughts, that is really important to questioning, when you have thoughts like, is that really what my soul is thinking, or is that like coming from my pain body, old ideas of who I am, and it's very important to do service, Here, especially in the Western world, we are very much in, even the psychology, we're saying the ego is a good thing. We're saying you have to build up the ego. In the West, in the East, is completely different. You should destroy your ego. You should become like a nothing to raise up like a full. Everything is in the zero. That means the ego has to die. And I think one way is to go a little bit the extra mile. Do something every day which you don't have to do normally, where you don't get anything in return, just because you just want to do it from your heart, because there's so much cosmic energy. If you make somebody happy, so much energy comes back to you. We call it in India karma yoga, or also seva. You cannot force that. You cannot say, oh, I do now 2 hours karma yoga and then I get enlightenment. But I visited a lot of ashrams where you have to do karma yoga, in India. Like even here in Germany, is one Art of Living, I think they're doing 4 or 5 hours karma yoga every day, And so, because it's known that if you do something without, getting it back, you're purifying something, and that is a very powerful thing. Doing the karma yoga, doing the seva, and also, Mitgefühl, how we say in English? Compassion. So it doesn't mean that you cannot set boundaries. So I want to say that it's not, not in kind of, that is important to put boundaries. But at the same time, to have a lot of compassion. We should have more compassion. See, if there would be so much more compassion, more people would be vegetarian, right? If you have to slaughter your own animal, would you do that for eating, like that? So to raise a compassion also for other people's mistakes, and also, for everything. I try to raise the compassion. Also for plants, for everything. I see when a plant is hungry, I feel like, oh, I really feel it in my heart. I feel like, oh, this plant doesn't have, water. So that's one station, but that was a beautiful question of enlightenment. Like, for example, Ramana Maharishi, Ramalinga Swami, who got this beautiful, powerful light samadhi, one of the strongest samadhi which you can get. So actually, he had a point in his enlightenment when he started to cry because somebody didn't water the plants, and it was seriously very long. And so in doing the process of awakening, you will have some heartbreaks because you will see through, the ignorance, you will see through the pain, you will see the connection, that we are all connected. That's normal, that's part of the process. And normally we tend to avoid, we avoid heartbreak, Normally we avoid heartbreak. We don't want that, so we close down, we protect ourselves. So we should dare to open up and dare to get hit. That is, I think, very important. Okay, I have one more question here from Anne. Hi Anne, you say, can you tell us how to protect yourself during healing work that you don't feel bad anymore afterwards? Oh, that's a very good question. Yes. Anyhow, right now I really don't do so much healing work anymore. I really believe I did too much. I did like 10 hours of healing work at the time. I didn't have kids, but people came, of course it called mouth and mouth, the things, which went, if it shows for 3 days, everybody came. And I didn't have to do any advertising, but it was very, very, very difficult because I had not even time to drink, eat really properly, and so I didn't took self-care so much. So any healer should have self-care, and there are some ways and mantras to decharge. It's not just to protect, okay? You have to decharge. You have to, look in a flame, for example, or holding some black stone. It's helping very much. Now in summer, walk barefoot. Or what I do every time when I do a healing, now I had to visit a friend, very, very, very sad, with a very, very bad condition in her health, and it was very, very heartbreaking to see that setting and to see also the family. After that, I took a shower with some salt, and I chanted some mantra, and I felt okay after that. You know, that is important. You have to, every time you do a healing or you do some work, you have to decharge. The best is in the elements. You know, you have to use the elements to decharge your negative energy in that, especially in the nature, right? If we walk in the nature, immediately we feel, even without mantras, yeah, we feel, oh. And the feet are so powerful. There are some powerful chakras under the feet. If you walk like a little bit barefoot, immediately feel the different. And don't decharge on other people. That is very important. Don't start to, you know, tell them how bad you feel and or gossip about some situation. Try to learn when you feel bad about something to be alone for a moment, and then try to decharge that, and then be in silence, because through that you connect a divine cosmic channel. And you know, then sometimes I shout with them also, you know. I say, what? You know, what is this? You know, beautiful friend, so sick, you know, what is this? And then, you know, but they only hear you if you make that in your, you have to have some silence in your time. And when I was a healer, at that time when I worked so much as a healer, I had no time for myself. You know, Sunday to Sunday night, non-stop. So that's not good. You should have time and silence. And I realized if I'm not meditating, that some energy is not just cosmic, it also comes from me. So now I only want to do maximum 2 healings a day, or talks in the darkness when I have to do healings. You know, so I do more work, but you know, the real healings, not too much, so I have time to decharge, and I have time to really work with somebody, you know, and really take care of myself too. Yeah. Okay, so that was very beautiful. Let's chant one mantra, and then if you have more questions, you can fill up this glass again. And if you have questions, you can also fill up that glass. You can send some messages. The best would be at email, and then we can print them out and put it here, and then we do another satsang. We can read it again. So thank you for being there, and I would love to sing the light mantra, Arut Param Jyoti. I sing without Shruti books. That's a beautiful mantra from Ramalinga Swami, who went into light samadhi. Arut means the highest, Param means the divine love, that unconditional love. Not the conditional love, oh, I love you if you do this for me, you know? Or, you know, it's like really this amazing divine love. Latest we see that when we die. If we're lucky, we experience before. I had some experience like this. It's amazing. So that energy can flow in us. Jyoti is the light, and Tani Param Karunai means that energy flows in me and transforms me. And it's also called the grace mantra, because some things we cannot do. Some blockages we know, you know, some things we know about ourselves, but we just cannot change it, right? We can do 10,000 therapies and sessions and kinesiology, and it just is there. So for those things, we call the divine grace. So much things can happen, and that's also very, very powerful mantra for healing. It has a very strong healing power. So if you charge it, if you do this out of Param Jyoti, like every day, 108 times on a mala, if you do that for some time and then you heal with that, that has so much power. You know, you can heal a lot of things with that mantra. It's really powerful. Arut Param Jyoti, Arut Param Jyoti, Tani Param Karunai, Arut Param Jyoti, Arut Param Jyoti, Arut Param Jyoti, Tani Param Karunai. Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino